Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to talk about the death of Spider-Man, which takes place during the other story arc. So we're going to cover the first part of this really big event. It was a big deal when this came out. Amazing Spider-Man issues 5 to 5, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man issue 3, and Marvel Knights Spider-Man issue 21. The story is actually written by Reginald Hudlin and J. Michael Straczynski. The tone from issue to issue sort of all over the place, especially with the difference of artists. Their styles contrast, but not in a good way. It's pretty jarring to go from one issue to another. It almost feels like you're dealing with a different story. So on the previous video that I did on the story arc, we have Morlun. He's trying to hunt down Spider-Man. Now, during this time, we know nothing about Morlun's backstory and his ties to the Inheritors. All we know is that Morlun feeds off the energies of totemic heroes. He has a fixation on Spider-Man. Morlun on a power level is a weird cross between Morbius, the living vampire, and Juggernaut. The guy is freaking unstoppable. And in this first issue where he starts his attack against Spider-Man, I have to say this part is pretty well done, where Peter Parker doesn't know how to stop this guy. There's this underlying feeling during this whole issue where you feel hopelessness, like Spider-Man doesn't want to give up, but he gets the impression that his time is up. As a longtime Spider-Man reader, and when this came out, it was sort of shocking because Spidey's really on the ropes here. And Spidey doesn't have too many villains that are hell-bent on killing him. The only one that comes to mind at the moment maybe is Carnage. And Cletus has never had Spider-Man so close to death's door like Morlun does in this story. And so what happens is Morlun brutally beats Peter Parker down, but doesn't feed off him because the police arrive. And this sort of killed me when I read this part of the story. The classic, the villain doesn't finish off the main character so we can have more issues in a particular story arc. I really hate this trope in comics. You're going to tell me that Morlun can't deal with a couple of cops? So what happens is Peter Parker is taken to a hospital. He's in intensive care when Morlun returns. Now he's going to finish his job. There he's confronted by Mary Jane, who tries to stop him. Morlun actually breaks her arm, and when this happens, Peter Parker, who is totally out in the hospital bed, snaps out of it, starts attacking Morlun. He's sort of like in autopilot and in pure animal rage. He starts fighting against Morlun, and all of a sudden this weird bone stinger comes out of his wrist. I remember when I read this, I thought to myself, oh God, no. Spider-Man has converted into Wolverine. The thing is that the tables are turned with Morlun, and Spider-Man with the stinger, seemingly he kills him and absorbs his energy. So the villain is stopped, but Peter ends up dying anyways. We get a really sad and touching moment where he's sharing his last moments with Mary Jane. That part is pretty well done. Sadly, Peter kicks the bucket, and as a reader during this time, this was my first Spider-Man death. But I knew during this time that it wasn't going to stick and that Spidey somehow was going to be reborn. So in the next issue, we have Mary Jane, Aunt May, and the Avengers mourning the death of Spider-Man. And we have quite a few moving and touching moments where the Avengers try to console poor Mary Jane. And then J. Michael Straczynski, who's the writer of this issue, just ruins everything, having Wolverine hit on Mary Jane. It is explained that Wolverine did this to make her angry, to make her forget that her loved one died, but it's so weird. It's so out of place. Like, I know Wolverine can be an asshole, but man, this is a little too much. And what happens is, in the middle of the night, the alarms go off in Avengers Tower. Everyone goes directly to the morgue that they have where they had Peter Parker's body. And all they found is just like this husk of Peter Parker's skin. It's very gruesome. Peter seemingly has shed his skin and escaped. The Avengers look all over the place. They can't find him. And next we see that Spider-Man is in a type of cocoon. He's going through a metamorphosis. So I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.